We've got to answer the bell. Now let's go.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint. It's a Monday Mirror edition, and we'll look back at the weekend in sports for the duration of the show. We're here until 4 o'clock. Hope you guys will hang out with us. And if you're watching on demand, well, we're here for the next 2 hours, whatever time that makes it. So,
2 hours from whenever you start.
yeah, we're here till 4. Whenever you watch it, that's up to you. You know, maybe you got nothing better to do tonight during prime time.
We're here for you at your convenience.
At your leisure.
There
There's no doubt.
Go.
So
I want to make this easy for you.
exactly. Mo, how was the weekend?
It's all right. It's all right. Did a little umpiring.
That's always good.
Not always.
Well,
Not always when you got a catcher that doesn't catch.
yeah, that's the rough part.
Yeah.
Yeah. What?
Because the gear doesn't cover everything.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. I know exactly what you mean, and it is not fun.
Yeah.
It's even less fun when the person checking on you is Sarah Evans, the country music singer, because her daughter was the catcher who didn't catch it.
Oh, that should have been a little costly for Sarah.
Yeah,
I'm gonna need some autographs, Sarah. That'll make me feel a whole lot better. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, that was a good day. That was an interesting day, at least.
Are you okay? No, I'm not. Actually,
My neck and my back.
My neck and my back.
That's
Yep.
$150,000.
no, actually, it's still a little sore here on the left thigh.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh well, it always.
Other than that,
Other
than
than-
that, and from like, I won't even say from 2:30, from like 3:45 to 6 was not great.
Well, it's funny because I was in Georgia, and at 2:30, I'm looking for the game. Well, they don't kick off at 2:30 in Georgia.
No,
They kick off at 3:30
in Georgia.
So I'm
Very
like,
good.
where's the game?
Well, so here's what's funny. Again, I got done umpiring right at halftime.
Oh, that's brutal.
And
You
so
missed
am
the
I.
best part.
Exactly.
You missed all the good stuff.
Exactly. So I go to Brewhouse South after going to Tin Roof and finding that starting at 2:30, all of our screens will be on the Nebraska game. So apparently
They're the Nebraska bar.
that. If you are looking for Nebraska football
We can help you.
Tin Roof on Carruthers, they got you covered. But
That is wild.
So yeah, I go settle in at Brewhouse South, 20-7 at the half. Well, let's go.
They went.
Alabama went.
No,
Tennessee, not so much.
Tennessee went too. They got in the bus and left, apparently.
Well, it's like I texted you. That might have been their best move. To
I
just
think
get
they
out
did.
of Brian Denny right there. Yeah.
I don't think they came back out. I'm pretty sure.
Man, that was rough.
It
We're
was-
going to talk more about
We
this
are.
with somebody that has a little bit more insight, since neither of us saw the game in its entirety. But Ben McKEE from 24/7 Sports is going to join us in the next segment.
So it was funny because we're at the wedding, and the tables were set up. Your seat was selected for you, or at least what table you were going to be at. Well, we were at a table with
No.
4 other people from Columbia.
Oh, here?
Yeah, because the bride works at United Communications,
Oh, wow. Okay.
and one of her coworkers lives here, and her friend who came with her date, is actually the parent of a Columbia Central basketball player and volleyball player. Yeah. So had some really cool stuff. And so we're watching the game during dinner. And so we saw quite a bit of the first half, and boy, we were feeling good, talking that trash to the groom's parents who are Alabama fans, and that didn't last long. But anyway, yeah, it was an interesting weekend. Had a good time in Georgia. Had a really interesting time. But spent 2 nights at the Battery. Went to go, eat something, get a few drinks, and had a good time. And they had the nerve to be showing baseball on the televisions, and other people there had the nerve to be wearing Phillies hats.
No.
And so I was mad. It was
No.
I was about to throw some rolls. Pretend it's Lambert's. I mean, I was about to throw stuff.
No.
But
no.
Yeah, it was rough. But anyway, we've got a lot to get to. It's going to be a good show. We'll start, however, with the results from the weekend and today's very, very, very short schedule on the rundown.
This is the Rundown.
The Monday Rundown is brought to you by Zion Christian Academy. ZCA offers a faith-based, Christ-centered education in Murray County. Give them a call today at 931-388-5831 or visit zioneagles.org to schedule your appointment today. Zion Christian Academy. Prepared for college, equipped for purpose.
Football action on Friday. Smyrna, a 30-26 winner over Antioch. Baylor blanks MBA 35-0. Brentwood does the same to Independence 28-0. It was Innsworth 21, Briarcrest 12. Cane Ridge a 17-14 winner over McGavock. Cheatham County blows out Stewart County 56-7. It was Christian Brothers 18, Father Ryan 14. Clarksville a 28-7 winner. Talk about a big second half from the Wildcats there. 28-7 over Rossview. 21 of those points in the second half. It was tied at 7 at the half. Ooh. Nashville Christian downs Clarksville Academy 56-12. Northeast was a 30-24 winner over Northwest. Columbia Central down to Lawson 38-3. Cookville was a 28-20 winner over Green Hill. Christ Presbyterian 24. Franklin Road Academy 7. Greenbrier 21. Creekwood 10. Grace Franklin 28-21 winners over DCA, setting up a huge game for this week against Columbia Academy. Eagleville was a 33-0 winner over Richland. East Nashville down to Republic 45-0. East Robertson 49. White House Heritage 21. Fairview 32. Sycamore 14. Franklin a 21-7 winner over Mount Juliet for their first win of the year. That's
previously winless Franklin, previously unbeaten Mount Juliet.
So, yeah.
That's why they play the games.
Friendship Christian 41, Ezo Harding 0, Hillsboro 49, Glencliff 0, Davidson Academy 54, Good Pasture 10, East Hickman 22-19 winners over Harpeth, and Houston County edges Joe Burns 15-14.
Also, Beach with a 44-9 win over Hunters Lane. Overton defeated Stratford 14-8. Kirkwood 29, Kenwood 20. First win in a while for the Cobras, I believe. Stewart's Creek with a 21-0 win over Laverne. It was Franklin County 31, Lawrence County 30. Lawrence County came back from down 31-16 in that one, but couldn't get over the hump. Hendersonville 21, Lebanon 14. It was Liberty Creek 49, Maplewood 20. Lipscomb Academy with a 24-17 win over Brentwood Academy. Station Camp 44, Montgomery Central 7, Columbia Academy 62, Mount Juliet Christian 0. Mount Pleasant with a 35-21 win over Hickman County. Nolensville edges Summit 17-14. Page doubles up Centennial 24-12. Pearl Cone with a 56-6 win over White House. It was Chattanooga Christian 27, Pope Prep 20. Middle Tennessee Christian with a 41-0 win over Providence Christian. Oakland 42, Ravenwood 18, Rockvale 27, Blackman 22, Riverdale all over Siegel 49-7, Gallatin down Springfield 17-7, Tullahoma 29, Spring Hill 7, Lewis County with 43 unanswered in a 43-3 win over Summertown. Wilson Central defeats Warren County 20-12. It was Macon County 34, Watertown 0. Loretto rallies for a 36-15 road win at Waverly. Battleground Academy with a 51-6 win over the Webb School at Bell Buckle. Dixon County 26, West Creek nothing. Westmoreland 14, Portland nothing. Marshall County 60, Whites Creek 18. And in 8-man football, Sacred Heart of Jesus defeated Zion Christian 36-25.
Volleyball state finals. Cleveland takes Class 3A 3-0 over Nolensville. Signal Mountain downs Valor Collegiate in AA 3-1, and Sail Creek upends Loretto 3-1 in Class A action.
Coverage of the latter at MainStreetMurray.com.
Girls soccer action from Saturday. Baylor blanks Lipscomb Academy 4-0. USJ 2. Battleground Academy 1. Cascade a 2-1 win over Cheatham County. Evangel Christian 4-1 over Franklin Road Academy. Hume Fogg blanks Fairview 5-0. Harpeth Hall a 4-1 winner over Chattanooga Christian. Franklin 3. Hendersonville 1. Houston a 9-0 winner over Clarksville. Hutchison School blanks Pope Prep 1-0. Liberty Creek was a 9-0 winner over Lead Academy. Merrill Hyde shuts out White House Heritage 2-0. Oakland 5. Ray County 0. Ravenwood 2-1 winners over Gallatin. Collierville 5. Rossview 0. Station Camp 9. Mary Central 0. And Walker Valley 2. Siegel 1.
College football of area interest. Again, Alabama with a 34-20 win over Tennessee. Tennessee State blanks Lincoln of California 54-0. And in double overtime, it's the Governors of Austin Peay 48. Southern Utah 45. Major League Baseball action over the weekend. The Astros defeated the Rangers 5-4. The Rangers came back with a 9-2 win over the Astros to force what many will tell you are the two greatest words in sports, Game 7. Also, the Diamondbacks with a 6-5 win over Philadelphia. Philadelphia goes back ahead in that series with a 6 what? This says 6-6. I know that's not right.
Oh, no, it wasn't. It was 6-1.
6-1. The Phillies with a 6-1 win to go ahead 3-2 in that series. On the ice, the Predators with a 5-1 win over San Jose. On the pitch, the Red Bulls of New York with a 1-0 win over the Nashville Soccer Club. And today's schedule, Game 6, as we refer to, Diamondbacks at Phillies. That's a 4:07 start on TBS. And at 7:03, Texas at Houston, Game 7 on Fox. Monday Night Football tonight, San Francisco is at Minnesota. That game kicks off at 7:15, can be seen on ABC, and that is your rundown.
Top stories brought to you by our friends at Piggly Wiggly, the Neely's Mill Shopping Center here in Columbia. Make sure to go see the fine folks at Piggly Wiggly. Anytime you're looking for lunch, they've got great deli meats, vegetables, cobblers, all kinds of great stuff. You can find plenty of fantastic food at a great price. You can also get fresh hand-cut meats, great produce, all cost plus 10 at the register. Again, that's Piggly Wiggly, Neely's Mill Shopping Center in Columbia. Now, our top story today is perhaps one of the, and not necessarily a blunder in the handling of the actual situation, but perhaps a blundering of the public relations aspect, if nothing else.
It's certainly a head scratcher.
As Steven Adams, Grizzlies big man, will undergo or has undergone.
No, did he do it today?
I think
the article I'm looking at on NBA.com says will undergo.
Okay, I apologize then. I thought that he was or had already had knee surgery. Nonetheless, he will have knee surgery, will Steven Adams, and he will miss the entirety of the 2023-24 NBA season. And anybody who watched the Grizzlies post Steven Adams exit last year knows what to expect, and it's not good.
And it's not good. It is not good at all. Yeah. So Steven Adams sprained the posterior cruciate ligament in his right knee last January. Again, according to this article on NBA.com. That injury forced him to miss the remainder of the 2022-23 schedule and the playoffs. And the thought was that non-operative rehab would resolve the knee instability. That was not the case. So I ask you, why sit out the final 40 games of your team's regular season, the entire offseason, and not have surgery that you probably could have been back from by now? And I say you, I don't know whose decision this was. I don't know if this was Steven Adams' decision to not have the surgery. I don't know if it was the Memphis Grizzlies' decision for him to not have the surgery. But the decision, and I know hindsight is 50-50.
Yes,
but,
it is.
you know, why? I think it's different if it's something you can play with. He couldn't. He missed the final 40 games of the regular season.
Yeah, it's
Why
not
not
like
go-
it's a shoulder injury to a linebacker that if you can play with the pain, then
Then you play with it and you go
By
ahead
all
and then you
means.
get it taken care of after the
Sure.
season.
But
But he
right.
wasn't playing.
yeah, he wasn't playing. It didn't make any sense.
And I mean, we've got some ATCs that could probably give us a little more insight into this. Some ortho surgeries surgeons that could probably give us a little bit more insight into this. Maybe there was a sound medical reason for pursuing the non-operative rehab road on this, but this doesn't look good for the Grizzlies at all.
No, it absolutely doesn't, because they are in a situation where they are at the max number of guaranteed contracts that you can have on the team. I think it's 15, maybe 13. I'm not entirely sure, but whatever it is, they can't do anything about it. It's not like you can
Go get somebody.
Yeah. So
You got to dance with the ones that
you
brung you
got
at this point.
you're going to have to go to someone who probably, isn't prepared to play at the NBA level, because you don't. I mean, the next biggest guys that they've got, Zaire Williams, maybe. I mean, Xavier Tillman is he's more forward than
There
guard.
are not
than
a
center.
whole lot of Steven Adamses in the NBA, let alone on the Memphis Grizzlies roster.
Yeah. I don't know who fills that role.
Nobody.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough. So, man, I don't know who I feel worse for, Steven Adams or Marcus Smart.
That's a good question.
I mean, because they went and got Marcus Smart.
And Marcus Smart coming in here thinking, okay, I'm leaving Boston, but that's cool. I'm coming into a team that I'm going to get a lot of PT for, and we're going to go deep in the postseason.
And the back-to-back 2 seed in the playoffs. Oops.
Yeah, about that.
We're about to find out a lot about Taylor Jenkins. We're about to find out, because here's the thing. If Steven Adams has the surgery postseason, if he has the surgery last season, then you've got all this time to decide, how are we going to deal with life without Steven Adams for however long we're without it. Instead, you've gone the entire offseason expecting Steven Adams to play.
Planning around him.
And now, 2 days before the season, you've got to completely blow up your offense and philosophy
and your defense,
and try and figure out how you're going to compete in a Western Conference that is absolutely loaded.
And you knew you weren't going to have Ja for the first 25.
Which is why you have Derrick Rose, Marcus Smart, etc. I mean, those are guys who play point guard and can do it at a high level. Okay, that's fine.
But part of playing point guard on that team was to be able to throw it inside to Steven Adams. That
Look,
option has gone away.
Look, here's what's going to happen. Jaren Jackson's going to have to bow up and be a little more tough inside than he's had to be in the past.
I think that's easier said than done.
No, I'm not saying I'm saying that in order for them to be successful, that's what's got to happen. I'm not saying that he can or can't do it. I'm just saying that if the Memphis Grizzlies are going to compete in 2023-24, Jaren Jackson Jr. has to be the key. He's going to be the key. Because I don't know anybody else who can be anywhere near the physical presence that Adams gives you.
And I just don't know that Triple J is physically capable of being that.
That's not his game. But
yeah,
but somebody's
I'm sorry,
got to do it.
I wasn't that familiar with your game, but I don't know. That's not.
There's nobody else that gives you the physical presence that he gives you at 6'11", 242 versus Adams 6'11", 265. Because your only other 6'11" guy is Santi Aldama at 6'11", 224 out of Loyola.
Well,
and I don't think they play a lot of physical basketball at Loyola in the CAA or whatever conference they're in.
With Sister Jane?
Probably.
And I think Steven Adams' 265 is a little conservative too.
It probably is. Yeah.
And it's not just his physical stature. It's his approach. Steven Adams is a 5.
He's a 5, and he's kind of an enforcer.
Mm-hmm.
There's nobody else that's an enforcer on this team.
Jaren Jackson Jr. is a guy who – what's up?
When did Kenneth Lofton Jr. is 6'8", 275? That can't be right.
Yeah.
He's not that big, is he? Holy cow. Okay.
He's still not a 5, though.
No, but I just was scrolling down and saw the weight and thought that can't be right. That's a typo. But okay.
Anyway, to your point, Jaren Jackson isn't that low block, dominant enforcer, that guy that's going to get down there and get somebody on his hip and throw his hand up and scream for the ball. That's not his game.
No. And this is going to be a disaster. But like I said, let's just play the hustle tank and see what happens in the lottery.
At this point, well, who's out there though?
Nobody.
Yeah, so I don't know how attractive that is either, but it's gonna be an interesting season in the Bluff City, and I'll tell you what.
And fans are not happy.
That's the thing. I don't know how well Memphis supports whatever this becomes.
Yeah. It's going. It's going to be interesting to watch because I don't see it either.
Get in, sit down, shut up, and hang on. It's going to get bumpy.
Certainly going to for them. I guess. Hey, Donovan Clingan, by the way.
Who? What?
Donovan Clingan from UConn, 7'2", 280. Guess you could potentially go get him. If you tanked and needed a
Can
big
he
guy.
play? Because I've never heard of him.
He's the number 5 overall prospect in the 2024 NBA Big Draft Board.
Well,
so that's all I got.
Yeah.
That's all I got. That's all I can help you with.
But Steven Adams will be back next year.
Yeah, but hell, he's 30. He's been in the league for how much longer can that hold? How long does the knee hold up? Even after surgery, there's so many questions.
Yeah.
Let's take a quick break. When we come back, Ben McKEE joins us as we will revisit Saturday's tough loss down
Like
in
it or
Tuscaloosa.
not.
Yeah, we said we'd talk about it. We're going to talk about it right here on Main Street Sports Day, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Stick around. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Custom Stone Handler supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mockingbird Title and Escrow is an attorney-owned and operated full-service title company in Middle Tennessee. We get your deals closed without worry and fuss. We're a family business that offers the highest level of expertise in our industry when it comes to closing and funding your real estate transactions.
And it's a job I really love. I'm passionate about this. I'm enthusiastic about this. I like to think we're pretty well-rounded and can deal with a wide range of needs and a wide range of clients.
Call 615-274-8698 today.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic service, and our Ortho Quick Walk-In Clinic lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports Day, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. I'm Chris Yao. He's Maurice Patton, and we are excited to be here, despite not being excited to talk about the next subject.
Yeah, but, in the interest of what we do, we need to talk about the next subject. And
plenty to talk about.
Oh, without question. But at least we got some help, though, right?
We will have some help, and I'm okay with that. Thank goodness, too.
So, Ben McKEE from 24/7 Sports joining us here on Main Street Sports today to talk a little bit about the second half collapse in Tuscaloosa of the Tennessee Volunteers. Ben, I'd much rather talk to you, Ben, about the baseball doubleheader that you saw in Greenville yesterday, to be honest. And I'm going to slip in a question at some point on that. But to start, how do you get up 20-7 at Alabama and not score in the second half? I mean, you knew Alabama was going to come back, but you got to do something, don't you?
You do, especially in hindsight. You would have liked to, and I'd much rather talk Tennessee baseball as well after Saturday's debacle. That was not a fun second half of football to watch, especially if you're a Tennessee fan. I thought the defense kind of set the tone for the entire half. I know you're asking me about why not or how do you not score a point in the second half? But I thought the defense set the tone for that and for things to come with how lazy, quite frankly, they looked on those first 2 plays of the second half. Alabama gashes them for a big run play on the first play of the second half. And then, yes, there should have been a holding call on the right tackle, I guess it was. He had Tyler Barron in a chokehold, and that absolutely should have been called. But you had 2 members of your secondary that, in my opinion, were just kind of lackadaisical in their coverage and allowed the Alabama receiver to run right past them. And then you had the weird penalty on the kickoff to where apparently somebody on Tennessee's front line of the kick return team raised his hand above his shoulder pads and was pointing to the football. And according to Josh Heupel, as of early Monday afternoon, if you raise your hand or anything above your shoulder, it's considered a fair catch by anybody on the kickoff return unit. And Tennessee was flagged for that. A weird call. It's a very unfortunate call for Tennessee because when the call is made, where the ball is caught is where the offense will start. If somebody other than the kick returner calls for a fair catch, and since the ball was caught on the 4-yard line at the time that the supposed fair catch call was being made, Tennessee had to start on the 4-yard line.
I guess my question there, though, Ben, is why are you returning that kick anyway?
Yeah.
That is a great question. That was Cameron Seldon, a freshman who is their second kickoff returner. Obviously, D. Williams is the return specialist for Tennessee, and Alabama was doing a great job of kicking away from him, and it ended up in the hands of Cam Seldon. And that's a great question. Only Cam Seldon can answer that one, why he decided to run that one back or try to run it back. But at that point, it had already been blown dead because of the supposed fair catch call that happened towards the top of the play. And that put the offense in a really bad spot. So by the time the offense is even touching the football, the defense has been lazy to start the second half, and you had the weird call on the kickoff as well. There were some penalties on offense that set them back. Right tackle Gerald Mincey, he left the game due to injury. So there were some protection issues after that. You had some receivers drop some passes. Joe Milton missed some receivers that were open as well. Josh Heupel made some interesting decisions, to say the least. Put his team in a couple of bad spots, in my opinion, by trying to go for it on a couple of 4th downs. So a lot spiraled out of control, and I think it started with them taking their foot off the gas coming out of the locker room.
Yeah, that defensive sequence there, and then the special teams play there, and that, felt like it got the Alabama crowd back into the ball game. Felt like it got the Alabama team back into the ball game, and like you said, it just kind of spiraled from there. I think the offense was fighting uphill from that point, and Alabama had all the momentum, and once they got it, they weren't giving it back.
No, and they did not. And that stadium was quiet at halftime. In fact, that stadium was mad at halftime because Tennessee was up 20-7. And for whatever reason, Alabama allows the opposing band to perform on the field at halftime. So Alabama fans were already mad about being down by 13 points. And it felt like Tennessee was going to win that football game. And here comes the pride of the Southland playing Rocky Top on their home field. And they were not too pleased about that. So Tennessee had all the momentum. I think it's a game that they're going to look back on in hindsight and just really kick themselves for a very, very long time, even extending past this season. You had Alabama right where you wanted them. And yes, you needed to convert in the red zone. It should have been more than just 20-7. You should have had a larger lead than just the 13 points. But you were still bullying them, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Tennessee's defense was doing whatever it wanted to up front, slowing down the run game, pressuring Jalen Milroe, forcing a turnover on the sack by James Pierce Jr. You had Alabama right where you wanted them, and to steal a term from a couple of the different players, they took their foot off their neck, and Alabama gained momentum with how Tennessee started the second half in lazy fashion and didn't look back, while Tennessee just struggled to regroup from that early adversity there in the second half.
Ben, when you watch this game, or when I watched this game, it seemed to me very, very simply that Tennessee's both offensively and defensively got conservative both on play calling and lazy or lackadaisical, more than lazy, on the field. That's all coaching. So that's got to change. And I don't know, I didn't get to hear all of Josh Heupel's press conference, but has that been a point of a question that has been raised? Is that something that he's taken responsibility for?
Yes, maybe not in those exact words, but he was asked about the decisions to go for it on fourth down, both of which were in Alabama's territory, if I'm not mistaken.
One was at midfield and one was at about the 30.
Yes, and you really put your defense in bad spots with those decisions. And Tennessee was still leading at the time of both, so I think you got to kind of play the field possession game and
Well, the first one worked out. We ended up getting a pick in the end zone, but still.
Yes, that one did end up working out. That one did not come back to bite him in the butt, but the other one certainly did. I mean,
absolutely it did.
Both of them injected life into Alabama, and you stole some of it back by that interception, like you mentioned. But the second one just kind of felt like the nail in the coffin, quite frankly, even if it technically wasn't over at that point. So he was asked about that, and he's constantly been asked since the Florida debacle why this team struggles on the road. Just generally speaking, in terms of simply playing football, and more specifically about the pre-snap penalties and communication. He's been asked that all season long, and was today, was after the game on Saturday. And he's just kind of had a generic answer. And I don't blame him for this, but he just says it starts with him and the rest of the coaches, and that they've got to be better, and they just simply need to execute. That's kind of all he said, and he's been leaving it at that, which is his right to do so. And I do think there are other coaches in this league. You look at the one in Columbia, South Carolina, they lose a football game and everybody gets thrown under the bus except for the head coach and the coaching staff. It seems like Josh Heupel does mention himself first and foremost every single time. So I do think he is taking responsibility. Some of it is just simply execution. Like at some point, players have to go make plays. But I do think that Josh Heupel, specifically with going forward on those fourth downs, put his players in a bad situation on Saturday.
Okay, so long-term, looking out to this season, let's say Tennessee goes 9-3 with a loss to Georgia. They get a road win at ranked Missouri, get a win this weekend on the road at Kentucky, which is not something that's just something they did 2 years ago in Josh Heupel's first year that I don't think anybody expected them to do. This team is certainly expected to compete and feels like they should win those games. Let's say they don't beat Georgia at home. They go 9-3. Is there cause for concern when those three losses are your three biggest rivals?
Yes, I absolutely think there's reason for concern. I think there's reason for concern right now, even without looking ahead, just because it's the same issues that are plaguing them, that they are totally different football teams when they're at home and when they're on the road. They are lights out inside of Neyland Stadium, which you would expect. That's a great atmosphere, great home field advantage. It seems like it's becoming harder and harder to win on the road in college football, and especially here in the SEC. But they go on the road, and yes, like I just said, it's getting harder and harder to win on the road. But it's things that you think that shouldn't be happening that continue to happen, like the pre-snap penalties, like the decision making. It's the same mistakes kind of over and over again on the road. And to put it simply, like they don't handle adversity well when they're on the road. They haven't since the Georgia game last season. They're 1-4 in the 5 road games since they were ranked number 1 in the college football playoff last year. And that one win is against Vanderbilt to end the season last year. All 4 losses have been by double digits. They've allowed a ton of points, allowed a ton of yards, and they've committed a ton of penalties. So I think there's already reason for concern. It's something that has to get cleaned up if Josh Heupel wants to get over the hump and go win a championship. He's already completely elevated Tennessee's stature in the sport. That they are the tier below the tier, in my opinion. He's done a lot of great work, brought Tennessee out of the dumps. I mean, Tennessee was embarrassing for a decade. They were the laughing stock of the SEC for a little over a decade, and they are no longer that, which is a heck of an accomplishment, especially when you consider what he took over from Jeremy Pruitt. But that's not the expectations and the standard at Tennessee to just win 9 or 10 games and go win the Orange Bowl. The standard and the expectation is to go win championships. And if Tennessee wants to get into that next tier with Georgia, with Alabama, and go win a championship, they've got to figure out these road struggles. So that Georgia game, it's at home. But I think with how Tennessee's performed on the road, I think you got to be a little nervous about them going to Kentucky and Missouri, because they just have not handled those environments well, really throughout Josh Heupel's tenure. You had the game at LSU last year. You had the easy win at Vanderbilt.
But he did win at both of those places 2 years ago.
He did. He absolutely did. That Kentucky win on the road 2 years ago is probably his most impressive road win. But even going back to that first year, they kind of choked a little bit in the fourth quarter in the swamp. You had a drop pass on a fourth down that led to Florida winning by double digits. And then in Tuscaloosa in 2021, that game was close. I believe it was a one-score game going into the fourth quarter, and you had some miscommunications that led to an interception, if I remember correctly. And they just have not really handled road environments well outside of a couple of performances. So
no, I agree.
There's a lot of concern there to me.
Ben McKEE with Go Vols 24/7 joining us here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. And Ben, having said all of that, this is year 3 under Josh Heupel, right? So, yes. I mean, fair to say they're ahead of schedule?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think after year 2, that they were certainly ahead of schedule. There's no bones about that with how they ended last season with a win over Clemson in the Orange Bowl. Now, maybe you've regressed a little bit because at best right now, I guess 10-2 is technically possible. But that would take beating Georgia, and it doesn't really feel like Tennessee's going to beat Georgia here on October 23rd. So it kind of feels like maybe 9-3 is your best bet, and getting that 10th win in a bowl game, which that would be really, really good. And they are ahead of where they should be when you go back and look what they took over from the disaster that was Jeremy Pruitt. I mean, the roster was in disarray. You had guys transferring out left and right. And that was on top of lacking talent on both sides of the football. You've had to rely on quite a bit of transfers these 3 seasons while you build up the depth of your roster. So they are ahead of schedule, but you're still losing some of these games because you're shooting yourself in the foot. And that's where that concern comes from. Even if it feels like they've taken a small step back so far this season, because you felt like you had golden opportunities in the swamp. Florida's not what Florida typically is. You're probably a better football team than Florida, but you did not show it at all on that day, on that afternoon in the swamp. So you wasted an opportunity to take advantage of a Florida team that is kind of down right now. And then, like we talked about at halftime of the Alabama game, Alabama was down. You had them right where you wanted, and you didn't take advantage of that. So Tennessee still is on the right track. There's no doubt about that. No need to put Josh Heupel on the hot seat or anything along those lines. But they've got to continue to build. They absolutely have to continue to build if they want to get to where they want to get. And that's winning championships, which is the expectation at a place like Tennessee.
So for those folks who say, this season's kind of a wash, why not get Nico some experience, see what you've got, make sure that you're in good position to go ahead? To that, I say the counter argument is, why burn a red shirt? When you could have him for 4 years, why burn him on a year that's a wash? What do you feel like is the best approach, or at least the approach that maybe Tennessee is taking?
Well, I personally don't think the red shirt really matters with Nico specifically
Because he's not going to be here 4 years anyway.
Yes, if things pan out and things
Yeah.
go according to plan, he's only here for 3 years, right? I mean,
So why not play him now?
That's a fair question. I think the reason you don't is because this team does still have a chance to go 10-2, 9-3, maybe win a 10th in a bowl game. And Joe Milton has certainly had an up and down season. There's no doubt about that. I just don't know that Nico. What's that?
I thought he was up Saturday. Thought he had a pretty good game.
He was awesome in the first half. And I don't think he was the issue in the second half. He did miss a couple of open guys, and I would have liked to see him push the ball down the field more when they were trailing. But he was not the issue there in the second half in Tuscaloosa. I thought he played well, absolutely. I just think it's a little too early. I think if you lose to Kentucky on Saturday and the offense continues to struggle in the red zone and Joe maybe plays the way he did against A&M or a little bit against Carolina, throwing in the double coverage, missing open guys, then maybe you consider it going into November, especially since you have UConn to start the month. I just think that conversation is just a smidge premature, just because there is still plenty to play for, even if it may not be a national championship or a college football playoff berth. You can still go out and win double-digit games as of right now, and that would be an accomplishment. That would be a successful season, even if you maybe squandered an opportunity to go win a championship. You never apologize for winning double-digit football games, and that is still on the table. So I think that's one reason why you don't throw Nico in there. And the other reason is I don't know that Nico is exactly ready. Not saying that he's not, but I also don't think he's ready to go in and be Trevor Lawrence like Trevor Lawrence was at Clemson when he played as a true freshman, or Tua benching Jalen Hurts. I don't think Nico's in that type of spot. You hear nothing but good things about him. He's handling his business behind the scenes. He's progressing, but you don't hear that he could go in right now and play like those other freshmen that I mentioned have played in the past. So I just think it's a little premature, and you do want to time that right, because how does the team handle the quarterback change? How does Joe handle a quarterback change? And you don't want to prematurely throw Nico in there when he's not ready, and that stunt his development.
Josh Heupel's a former quarterback. I mean, you kind of trust him with that decision. And if Nico was the best option, he'd already be in there, would he not?
I think so. I mean, Josh Heupel is a good football coach. He's had a couple of tough Saturdays this fall at Florida and this past weekend at Alabama, but he's a really good football coach. He really is. He's a great offensive mind. He's a good quarterback developer. I think if Nico Iamaleava gave Tennessee the best chance to win, I think he'd be Tennessee's starting quarterback right now. Why would Josh Heupel not put his team in the best position to go win a football game? And right now,
I would say he still started Joe Milton over Hendon Hooker 2 years ago, and some will tell you that it's because he's very, very stubborn when it comes to Joe Milton due to his recruiting him in college at UCF out of high school. And I'm telling you that those people aren't necessarily wrong. Yeah,
and I would also say, though, that Joe is a very, very good practice player as well. And I think so. I mean, that's a good point. But you also had JT Shroud and Keller Christ and Brian Maurer and other guys Harrison Bailey, who haven't done anything in their college career pushing Jarrett Garantano. I mean, JG was the best out of the bunch of quarterbacks that.
Yeah, there's no question. And that's saying something.
Correct. It absolutely is. And I think Tennessee's coaches at the time would have liked to play somebody else, but they didn't have anybody to.
They would have loved to. Anybody with this guy.
Right. So Joe's not Jarrett Garantano.
No,
first and foremost. I know you're not saying that. You're just using that practice example. I get that. But Joe is a good practice player. His teammates love him. And I think the thing with starting Joe over Hendon, you have to remember that what does Hendon do best? He kind of scrambles. He's innovative. He avoids pressure. He runs. I mean, it's the same thing with Josh Dobbs. It was why the Butch Jones staff was reluctant to throw Dobbs in there.
The exact comment that we have right here from one of our viewers, Old Geezer, reminds me of Dobbs.
1000%. Because what Dobbs and Hendon do best, you can't see that in practice because they have non-contact jerseys on. They're not getting hit. They're not running like they do in the games. And that's not to say Dobbs and Hendon aren't good passers, because they are. I mean, look at what Dobbs is doing this year as a starting quarterback and for the Cardinals, and look what Hendon did last year throwing the football. But Joe did show more in fall camp that August when he was battling it out with Hendon. The staff also at the time wanted Hendon. Hendon wasn't really letting it go, wasn't cutting it loose. He was very timid, kind of dink and dunk. And in this offense, they want somebody that's going to force the football down the field. And we know Joe Milton loves to throw the football down the field. So you have Joe Milton in practice kind of cutting it loose and throwing the football every which way possible. And Hendon's kind of being timid and dinking and dunking, and you can't see his running ability. And that's why Joe wins that quarterback battle. So I also don't think Nico is pushing Joe at the moment the way that Hendon was pushing Joe at that time as well. And again, that's not to say that Nico's going to be a bust or you need to hit the button. He's a true freshman, right? It's uncommon to see what Trevor Lawrence or Jalen Hurts or Tua, what those guys did. That is very uncommon to have guys come in and play the quarterback position in that way. And all signs are still positive that Nico's going to be really, really good for Tennessee at some point. It's just not this October 28th against Kentucky. He's not ready to be that quarterback just yet.
But if Kentucky were to beat Tennessee this weekend, what do you have to lose?
That's true. I would like to see
and you have UConn to kind of baptize them a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. I don't disagree with that. I would say that I would like to see how the game transpires. Maybe Joe Milton plays the game of his life and the defense can't stop anybody. But if I was very critical of Joe coming out of the Texas A&M game. I thought he played very poorly. The interception was very, very bad. I thought he lacked awareness in a couple of different situations. And he was missing guys wide open running down the football field. I did not expect him to go down there and play Alabama the way that he did, particularly in the first half. I did not see that coming. He was lights out. He was awesome in that first half against Alabama, and I did not see that coming. If he reverts back to kind of what he did against A&M, against Kentucky, where he's missing open guys and forcing it into double and triple coverage
and turning down opportunities to run for extra yardage.
Yep. If he's doing that again, then absolutely. Let's talk about Nico. But if he's going to play like he did in the first half against Alabama, that gives Tennessee the best chance to win right now. And here's the other thing. Protection has been an issue for Tennessee here at different points. Gerald Mincey gets hurt, and the offensive line takes a step back in the second half against Alabama. Do you want to throw Nico into that situation as well, to where that could potentially stun his growth? And Tennessee's receivers have played very poorly this season. That's the biggest group on offense that has taken a step back.
Very little separation.
None. And nothing after the catch, no yak yards, which you saw with Tillman and Hyatt and Velus Jones and Javonte Payton. You're not getting much from your receivers. Ramel Keaton has regressed a lot. I do think you can count on Squirrel White. I think Squirrel White is having a good year. But outside of Squirrel White, who can you count on at receiver right now?
Losing Brew McCoy was horrible.
That was
a
lot
really
worse than I expected it to be at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely. That
and
was
the tight ends haven't really
There's
picked
not
it
been
up
a Princeton
like,
Fant kind of guy.
Well, I mean, the guy that transferred in here with so much hype, whose name I can't remember.
McCollin Castles.
Yes.
Yes.
Jacob Warren has been inconsistent. I mean, and those were opportunities, to step in and take over for the receiver group that has regressed.
Yeah,
Castles has a very similar game to Princeton Fant in the sense that he is a Swiss Army knife. He can do a lot of different things, and the staff really likes him. You saw him make the touchdown catch on Saturday against Alabama. I think the difference between Princeton Fant last year and McCollin Castles this year is that Castles hasn't been in the offense as long as Princeton Fant was leading up to last year.
Who has?
I think if Castles could have 2 or 3 years under his belt, I think he would have a Princeton Fant type of impact. It's just, unfortunately for him, he's only going to get 1 year at Tennessee.
There you go. That's an interesting thought process. I think, and I had thought about that yesterday, how the tight ends just hadn't seemed to be nearly as effective. And when you have a quarterback who's struggling, having a good pass catching tight end
Security
can completely
blanket.
change the game. It
Absolutely.
absolutely can. So,
Yeah. Ben McKEE of Go VOLS 24/7 joining us here on Main Street Sports today. Ben, before we get you out of here, real quick, again, you were at the baseball doubleheader against Virginia Tech at Greenville, and we can't sit here in Columbia, Tennessee, and not ask you, how did KT look?
KT struggled yesterday. You're asking me on the wrong day. Tavares did struggle yesterday. He went 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts. I
well, if he'd got one more at bat, he would have hit a grand slam.
That is correct.
Like Adolis Garcia, right?
No, but he's had a good fall. The last week or so, he has struggled a little bit. He's kind of back to swinging at everything as hard as he can. Here the last couple of the exhibition yesterday against Virginia Tech, and I've been out at the inter squad scrimmages as well. The last week or so, he's kind of been swinging as hard as he can at every pitch thrown at him. But to start fall practice back at the end of September, he was by far their best player, and that's because he wasn't chasing everything. He was seeing the ball really well, and he was smashing every pitch that was thrown at him. And he's looked really good in the field as well all throughout the fall. Has a cannon for an arm, has made several great throws, has made several great catches. And to me, KT seems like from the outside looking in, seems like a very quiet young man. But I've heard him speak up a lot this fall while in the field, just communicating with his teammates, encouraging them, reminding them of how many outs and where to go with the ball and simple things like that. And I know that does sound simplistic, but something that he wasn't doing last year when he was a younger player. And now that it's his third year of the program, it seems like he's really taking on a leadership role. So KT did not have a great day yesterday, but that's baseball for you. And I think KT's in for a great season, and he's going to be one of the more electrifying players to watch in the SEC.
That's good to hear.
Love it. Love it. Ben McKEE, Go VOLS 24/7 joining us here. Ben, appreciate you taking some time with us this Monday.
Absolutely. Appreciate you having me on, and always enjoy being with y'all. Hope y'all have a great week.
Thank you.
You too, man. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, we've got Terry's Titan report. We took a little long there, so we'll have to take a full break here, Justin. But Terry's Titan report,
and it's going
to be a good one.
Yeah,
right
you don't want to miss this.
Stick around. Or a bad one. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, zioneagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's zioneagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today. Mockingbird Title and Escrow is an attorney-owned and operated full-service title company in Middle Tennessee. We get your deals closed without worry and fuss. We're a family business that offers the highest level of expertise in our industry when it comes to closing and funding your real estate transactions.
And it's a job I really love. I'm passionate about this. I'm enthusiastic about this. I like to think we're pretty well rounded and can deal with a wide range of needs and a wide range of clients.
Call 615-274-8698 today.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic service, and our Ortho Quick Walk-In Clinic lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
I'm sure that this is going to be a great segment, and Terry McCormick standing by to give us a report as some breaking news just moments ago. Terry, how are you?
Well, I'm quite buried in the news right now.
No, what's going on? Is there something special that we need to be talking about here?
Well, it's your daily Titans report, and it's brought to you by Zen Sports, which is changing the bonus game for the better. And the Tennessee Titans made a change, but I'm not sure this one's for the better. They have traded Kevin Byard to the Philadelphia Eagles, and if you're a longtime Titans fan, and you've kept up with the team for any amount of time, you know that in a lot of ways Kevin Byard was one of the faces of this franchise and a guy that put his heart and soul into this organization for 7+ years, never missed a game, and even finally after initially declining, he agreed to a rework contract that cut his salary in order for them to bring DeAndre Hopkins aboard. But as of about 20, 30 minutes ago, he is a Philadelphia Eagle.
Man, and like you said, Terry, that one, it just kind of hurts a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's a business, and teams make trades all the time and try to do what they feel like is in the best interest of the organization. But fans don't often see it that way, and certainly, the last time the Titans made a big trade, they sure did wind up on the short end of it, as we saw with A.J. Brown, and now Byard's going to be reunited with him and with Julio Jones, who was just signed the other day by Philly. All three of them are going to be in Philadelphia with a chance to make a deep postseason run, probably.
You also got a couple of Blue Raiders in Philadelphia now, as Reed Blankenship will get to kind of show Kevin Byard the ropes up there in the defensive secondary.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, you and I are middle alums, so it's always good when a Blue Raider makes an impact. But I'll go ahead and say this. Very few MTSU football players have made more of an impact in the NFL than Kevin Byard has in the time that he was been here with the Tennessee Titans. The one thing that I would say about it is, one, from a purely selfish point of view, we're losing one of the best media guys that has come around here in a long time. Byard was always available, always accessible, always willing to talk, and gave thoughtful answers, good in good times and bad. But then from just the overall standpoint, this was a guy who said over and over again that he would like to be a lifetime Titan. He would want to play his whole career with the Tennessee Titans and try to win a championship here if that was possible. And as of today, that's no longer the case. So it's interesting here. I think this is the first domino. I think it signals that the rebuild is on, guys.
Yeah. So, Terry, what should we as Titans followers take from this? Because my thought is, don't stop here.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably the thought of a lot of people now. Now that you've pulled the first brick out from the building, you might as well keep going.
Yep.
And I mean, there are, trading veteran players, as I told you guys last week, does not exactly yield a high return on investment in terms of what you can often get back. There was a report that the Titans are getting back 2 draft picks, a 5th and a 6th for next year, and safety Terrell Edmonds, which doesn't seem like, a great haul right now. But, they do have some other tradable commodities if they really want to blow it up and burn it to the ground, so to speak. There's Derrick Henry, there's Ryan Tannehill, there's DeAndre Hopkins. There are any number of veterans on this team, Danico Autry, that you could move on from if you really want to have the fire sale right now. It's going to be interesting to see if that's the route they go. Because, to me, if you're going down this path, then, why go halfway in? Get what you can get. Let everybody know that you're willing to go, win 3 to 4 games this year. And it's probably time to start Will Levis at quarterback and see what you got.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how tradable Ryan Tannehill is until people
He's
know if
not.
he's healthy or not. But I mean,
Well,
besides
that's very
that,
true.
yeah,
That is very true. You wouldn't know what you have, and he probably, chances are he probably won't be healthy until after the trade deadline. So
right.
there's that. But it's an interesting situation here that
Hey,
Byard is the first domino to fall in this process.
do you know that the 6th round pick that we got is the pick we traded
with
with
AJ?
AJ Brown? That's not the piece of that trade I wanted to get back.
Well, the piece of the trade
Probably
you
not.
wanted to get back, you're not getting back. He's just caught 125 receiving yards in each of his last, 5 games?
NFL record 5.
So, yeah.
Tied an NFL record. I mean, I don't know. But if I'm the Titans, I'm a little leery of dealing with Howie Roseman the way he fleeced you the last time.
Listen, and I just said this off air, just tweeted it. The Eagles are the Diamondbacks to the Titans Braves, or I'm sorry, the Titans are the Diamondbacks to the Eagles Braves, because they just keep getting more from us. I mean, this is a team that the Eagles didn't need. They had 4 potential 5th round picks with compensatory picks. 4. So what's giving us 1? I mean, who cares, right? So it's a tough one, man. I think that they should give us something else, but apparently we're not going to get that. So at this point,
You want them to throw in Jalen Hurts?
I mean, honestly,
Would they?
I would take the Rocky statue, the Liberty Bell. I don't know. I mean, whatever. Banning Flyers games from all, or Flyers fans from all Predators games. I mean, anything.
Seems reasonable.
But yeah, this is interesting. If you had to guess who would, and again, pure speculation, you had to get who would you trade next? Who would be the next person on your list to get out of here?
To Mo's point last week, I agree. I think Derrick Henry has more value to the Titans than he does to most of the other teams around the league. And so I don't know that you would get very much in return. Not that you got a lot for Byron. But I would think that the 2 guys on the roster that are veterans that are, looking maybe that you might look to move, and you're not going to want to hear this, but one of them's DeAndre Hopkins and the other one's probably Danico Autry.
Mm-hmm.
See, I was thinking D-Hop too, but, especially I assume that, and I seriously don't remember. Is DeAndre on a 1-year deal?
He's on a 2-year deal. He is under contract for next year, but I'm not sure what all the ramifications are. I'd have to look it up. So I don't know if there's a lot of dead money tied to him if he's cut next year.
So DeAndre Hopkins or Treylon Burks, one of those 2.
Well,
Treylon Burks can't see.
I don't think Treylon Burks, 1, has a lot of value right now.
Mm-hmm.
And 2, I don't think the Titans are ready to give up on a 1st-round pick in year 2 simply because he's been injured. I think they need him back. He's a lot like, some of these other young guys. They need him to take a step forward and be one of the foundational pieces going forward so that they, don't have to address every single position over the next year or 2 in terms of rebuilding.
Terry McCormick, Titan Insider, with the top of the hour Titans report. Terry, let's go back to this trade for just a second, because I want to ask you, are the Titans doing Kevin Byard a solid by giving him an opportunity to play for a ring?
Mm-hmm.
Probably. I would think so. I mean,
do you feel like, is there any chance that was the intent?
It's possible. I mean, I don't claim to have the knowledge of what went down in the room when Rand Carthen was talking to Howie Roseman and they were cobbling this deal together. But my guess might be that maybe they went to Kevin Byard and asked him if he wanted to go to a contender. I mean, that's not completely out of the question. Byard's been here. This is his 8th year. He's, and not that the team owes him this, but in a sense, he's kind of earned the right to say, yes, I'll do it, or no, I don't want to do it. That sort of thing.
Mhm.
Would you agree?
You would think if anybody has, you would think it would be him. And I'd like to
Sure.
think that they showed him that respect of saying, hey, we've got an opportunity to make a move. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, that may be what happened in this whole thing because, I mean, I know that, there was a report over the weekend that's saying that they had fielded some calls about Byard, but, certainly, the way he's talked in the past about wanting to be here his entire career would lead you to think that, they wouldn't just do this out of the blue and say, boom, you're gone.
Here's the thing that some folks are not, to this point in the season. I know it is what it is, but Elijah Molden is in a contract year. He's 24 years old, and whatever stock you want to put into Pro Football Focus, you can put this into it. Elijah Molden has been 9 positions higher on the PFF grades than Kevin Byard this year. So he has outplayed Kevin Byard. He's 24 years old, and he's in a contract year.
But he also has never proven that he can stay healthy, and that's a big concern.
Well, I understand that,
and that's got to be particularly a big concern with this franchise, where health over the last couple of seasons has been such a big deal.
Sure. And then they trade away the one guy who had never missed a game.
You were so tight-knit.
Yeah, that's kind of it. But I just thought that was interesting that, perhaps the Titans said, well, if we're going to get rid of him now, at least on the roster currently, we have a guy who can step into that role, and then you get the safety back as well. So I mean, we'll see.
We will see.
It's obviously not, a move we're not buyers. We're certainly sellers here. And hopefully 2-3 years down the road, we see it pay off.
Yeah. Would have been cool to see Byard in those Oiler throwbacks Sunday, though.
Oh, man. I bet that's the one thing he's upset about. I bet he's most upset about that right there. Terry, tell us about Zen Sports.
All right, gladly. Zen Sports is the new sports book in Tennessee that is revolutionizing the way you earn sports betting rewards. With Zen Sports, your rewards are cash rewards. You bet with real money, and now you're rewarded with it too. Earn a whopping 5% cash back welcome bonus for your first 15 days when you sign up with code MAINSTREET, MAINST. Keep betting and keep earning every month after that with up to 3% cash back rewards on your betting volume. Best of all, you can earn cash commission on your referral bets with the Zen Sports Referral Rewards Program. Zen Sports, betting just got better. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 and older and in Tennessee to bet.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Custom Stone Handler supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mockingbird Title and Escrow is an attorney-owned and operated full-service title company in Middle Tennessee. We get your deals closed without worry and fuss. We're a family business that offers the highest level of expertise in our industry when it comes to closing and funding your real estate transactions.
And it's a job I really love. I'm passionate about this. I'm enthusiastic about this. I like to think we're pretty well-rounded and can deal with a wide range of needs and a wide range of clients.
Call 615-274-8698 today.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily, as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic service, and our Ortho Quick Walk-In Clinic lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Muted. That's my bad.
Oh,
Welcome back into Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint.
take two.
Yeah, take two. And man, that was unfortunate to have to deal with that today. But since we're trading folks, Mo,
Let's trade everybody.
well, including the head coach, I mean, Mike Vrabel was in Robert Kraft's booth this weekend, and Belichick, we've been talking about maybe hanging it up, and all this talk about Belichick hanging it up, and then he goes out there and beats the Bills. That was pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't care what you said. That's so Bill Belichick.
Absolutely. You know, I thought we were done with nothing burgers after we got over that Philadelphia Atlanta BS. Mike Vrabel played, for those of you who may not be aware, for the New England Patriots. Won how many Super Bowls?
I don't know, a bunch, probably 3 or 4.
Pretty good few. Was inducted into their Hall of Fame this weekend. Did not leave the team on a game day weekend or anything like that to be in New England, to be in Robert Kraft's booth. I just don't understand how anybody with any sense can have an issue with that.
Nobody said, I don't have an issue with it. I don't know who does. But
the question has been raised, I guess, which I don't even know why the question would be raised, but it has been. So
I'm just saying, if the New England Patriots wanted Mike Vrabel to be their head coach, I think he would be.
I think he would listen, but I also think that there are so many examples of being the next person that have gone awry. That, I mean, I just think that I think Vrabel I think he's smart enough to recognize that. Now, the flip side is, I think Vrabel might be wondering how much longer his shelf life is here in Tennessee.
Does he have the stomach for this rebuild?
Well, what's the difference in this rebuild and that rebuild?
They got their quarterback.
Do they?
I mean, they think they do.
Well, I mean, if you've got the quarterback, particularly in that league, that definitely puts you ahead of the game. But I mean, do they have their quarterback?
Right now, semi-long term, in my opinion, you got a better defense. And here's the thing.
As of this moment, you might, you know, 2 hours ago, you may not have been.
I said as of right this second, you've got a defense who can keep you somewhat competitive, I think, even amongst a rebuild. Because the fact is they only need to rebuild the offense. And they only need to rebuild parts of the offense. Because I think Tajay Spears has proven that he can be a guy that you can lean on post Derrick Henry, whenever that may be, whether it be this year, next year, year after next.
This week.
It may be. I don't know. You've got Traylon Burks, who, if he can stay healthy, can be positive, can be a guy. You've got DeAndre Hopkins next year still under contract. You've got, you've got Peter Skoronski in at left tackle. You've got go out and rebuild that offensive line and get you one more wide receiver or something. I mean, I don't know. I don't know that the rebuild is – I don't know that the Titans need to rebuild their entire roster. I think the defense is good enough that if you find – you go get 2 or 3 pieces on offense in the next year's draft, you can have – what did the Predators call it?
A competitive rebuild.
It was a competitive rebuild.
I believe so.
And I mean, I feel like that's
rebuilding on the run, so to speak.
Yeah. I mean, we're not gonna be the Jaguars and get 2 number 1 overall picks, and then 5 years from now go 9-8 and win the division and scream like we won 15 ball games. We're going to go 6-11 a couple of times, get some top 10 draft picks. And by the time by the time Jeffrey Simmons' contract rolls around and some of these other big contracts roll around, you've
be ready to go.
Yeah, you're ready. You're done. So I don't know. Anyway, I think the relationship that Mike Vrabel and Amy Adams Strunk have is pretty strong.
I feel like it is as well. I think that, and I feel like Vrabel and Carthon are on the same page.
Yeah, it's
as opposed to Vrabel and the last guy. I mean, because we saw the clips from the draft room when the A.J. Brown trade was announced. And if you couldn't see the disgust in Mike Vrabel's body language, then you're not paying attention.
Well, I also saw him wave to the cameras after they took Josh Weil, and 30 picks later, Los Angeles Rams superstar Puka Nacua was taken. and we didn't take a wide receiver until round 7. Mm-hmm. So whether they're on the same page or not, I mean, I guess is a good thing if they are, but also, let's also try to be, proactive in getting positions of need.
Well,
but yes, I think the relationship is what matters.
Let's talk about Puka Nacua just a second, because that's about all I got. Who knew who he was? Did you know who he was?
No.
Okay.
No,
I mean,
no
now, I mean, those people are paid to know who he is. I mean, I get that, but
Well,
I'm not going to hold it over anybody's head that they didn't draft Puka Nacua.
Well, my point is they didn't draft any wide receiver.
And
they took Chig Okonkwo 2.0 when we already had Chig Okonkwo.
1.5 maybe. I don't know about 2.0.
Have you seen? Dude, Chig has regressed horribly. Horribly.
Is that his fault?
Weil is outperforming it.
I think it's Wiley for one thing.
Whatever.
But
I'm just saying, you already had that guy. We didn't need that guy.
Theoretically.
And we needed somebody who could catch the football and run pass routes and, get some separation amongst defenders and take the top off. Oh, no, we got Racing McMath. No big deal. We don't need that fast guy. We don't need Jalen Hyatt. All we need Jalen Hyatt. All he can do is run fast and catch footballs. God forbid we have a guy who can do that.
Run fast and catch footballs. Yeah. Why would you want that?
This is kind of, I mean, you can have the same mindset as your GM and it not be a
the
net
right
positive.
mindset. Yeah.
It not be a net
You're
positive.
both wrong. Yeah. But at least you're wrong together, right? Yeah.
Which doesn't work for me as a fan. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah. Speaking of the Eagles, I don't know. Did you see the list of Miami Dolphins versus Philadelphia and all the like how many Alabama players were on the two rosters?
No.
It was a bunch. Matter of fact,
I mean, it makes sense.
Let's see here. Last night, Miami, Tua, Jalen Waddle, Raekwon Davis, Lester Cotton, and Deshaun Hand. Philadelphia, Jalen Hurts, Julio Jones, Devontae Smith, Landon Dickerson, Tyler Steen, Eli Ricks, and Josh Jobe. Well, apparently, because Philadelphia had 7 Bama players and Miami only had 5, they were the beneficiaries of the cheating refs and did not have a single penalty called against them the entire night. So,
whatever works, right?
And this goes back to the Tennessee thing too. And I think people need to understand this. I'm not whining because I agree that calls are often missed on both teams. I completely agree that calls are often missed against both teams. What you have to also understand is that I can accept that unless one team got called for 0 penalties. How do you can miss some, you can't miss all.
Well, and here's the thing. People that want to throw whining around are people that I don't listen to because they're not objective.
It's not whining.
I mean, it's stating fact.
It's pretty clear.
Because that defensive holding on Gabe Judy,
yeah,
I can't think of the second half of his last name. That was amazingly ticky-tack. I mean, even for Alabama officials, that was bad.
As ticky-tack as that was, and then to miss blatantly obvious things.
The chokehold that Ben McKEE mentioned on Tyler Barron.
So, or last night, David Long getting decapitated as he runs up the middle, is about to tackle Philadelphia's running back in the backfield for a loss, literally gets clotheslined.
I did not see the game, but
nothing.
We're talking longest yard clothesline.
It might as I promise you, he went full speed and his feet were above his head when he hit the ground. He didn't get knocked backwards. He got knocked over. So, I mean,
butt over tea kettle, huh?
It just doesn't make any sense. Like, and this is an official's problem from top down and from bottom up. And this, I've had this conversation with high school coaches. Mm-hmm. We've got NFL officials who ought to be officiating Power 5 football. We've got Power 5 football officials who ought to be officiating OVC, because that's the level of official that they truly are. But instead, somebody's got to move up. And so you're getting some really good high school officials end up moving into, and here's the biggest issue is that they're not full-time jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So you also have to have the availability to be able to leave on a Friday and not get back till Sunday or whatever, and that sort of thing. You're getting some really good, some just fair high school officials who are calling collegiate football now. And just because they've been doing it for long enough, at this point, they kind of have to move up because they're the only ones with any experience, which leaves high schools.
There's no backfill.
There's nothing, nothing. And so we just have to accept it at this point. Now, how you miss every single potential call in a ball game, I'll never understand. And do I think it's a conspiracy? Do I think they did it on purpose? No, I don't. I just think that that's just the state of officiating. It is what it is, even at the highest level. I have one other question in here, and is Kareem Jackson simply dirty? 5 straight games, Kareem Jackson has been fined. He was ejected from the most recent game he played in. And he has now been suspended for 4 games, according to Rap Sheet Ian Rappaport, 17 seconds ago. So timing is everything. As we talk about Kareem Jackson, he's been suspended without pay for 4 games for violations of unnecessary roughness rules following Sunday's game against the Packers. Against Green Bay, Jackson was penalized and disqualified for an act of unnecessary roughness. In a letter to Jackson, John Runyon, Vice President of Football Ops,
and
former Titan. On the play in question, you delivered a forceful blow to the head neck area of a defenseless receiver. When you had the time and space to avoid such contact, you could have made contact with your opponent within the rules, yet you chose not to. He noted Jackson has had multiple offenses for personal fouls this season for violating player safety-related rules, including a similarly flagrant hit in Week 2 against Washington, for which he was disqualified. Jackson will be suspended for games against Kansas City, Buffalo, Minnesota, and Cleveland, and eligible to return to the Broncos' active roster on Monday, November 27th, following the team's November 26th game against the Browns. He can appeal the suspension.
He can.
Yeah, I just don't know at this point why. Man,
let's see how that goes for you.
But this guy, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to say the dude just, is dirty, but crap. I mean 4 games this year, you've been flagged for unnecessary roughness.
I mean, how do you not?
And you've been disqualified twice.
I mean, if it walks like a duck.
Yeah. Man, I don't know. I hate that for him, but, again, like Mr. Runyon said, you could have done it within the rules. You chose not to.
So there you go.
Let's take a break. College football on the other side of it. We've got Monstars as well. We'll hand out some hardware. So stick around. Main Street Sports Today. We'll be back to the Lee Company studio in just a moment.
It's the biggest racing show of the year, Friday through Sunday, November 3rd through 5th at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. 6 fast-paced divisions of racing on the quarter mile Friday night, pole qualifying and 3 big feature events Saturday night, and the Curb Records Big Machine Vodka Spike Coolers All-American 400 on Sunday afternoon. Racing starts at 6:30 Friday, 5 o'clock Saturday, and 1 o'clock Sunday. Tickets available at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway.racing or at the gate on race day. It's the 39th All-American 400 weekend, Friday through Sunday, November 3rd through 5th. Get your tickets now.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
With Lee Company Technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, zioneagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's zioneagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today. Mockingbird Title and Escrow is an attorney-owned and operated full-service title company in Middle Tennessee. We get your deals closed without worry and fuss. We're a family business that offers the highest level of expertise in our industry when it comes to closing and funding your real estate transactions.
And it's a job I really love. I'm passionate about this. I'm enthusiastic about this. I like to think we're pretty well rounded and can deal with a wide range of needs and a wide range of clients.
Call 615-274-8698 today.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic service, and our Ortho Quick Walk-In Clinic lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. We've got some college football to talk about, but before we do that, we're going to give you the Monstars. Oh, yeah, I love that. That's good stuff. JK, you got any Monstars to throw out?
Give me 1 second.
There you are.
If we were doing.
Turn your mic up, JK.
Yeah, turn your mic up just a
Turn
little.
it up.
And if that's we got you.
Gotcha. Sorry about that. Yeah, no, I honestly didn't know if we were doing this segment. So can I go third?
Yeah, you're good. I just wanted to give you a chance if you were ready.
Definitely my
All right.
team. We'll see.
Yeah, just go check out go see who killed. Dude, we had this is crazy. In my fantasy league this week, we had a guy whose team, every single player, like he scored 178 points this week. Lamar Jackson, Deontay Foreman both had 33 plus. Pacheco had 16. Jacoby Myers had 18. Waddle had 12. Christian Kirk had 18. His tight end from Baltimore had 22. And he had Drake London in his flex, who had 11. The bad part is, had he played Gus Edwards as his flex, he could have had 10 more points. He would have scored 188 points. That's insanity. Just the entire Baltimore team.
No,
Sorry, Brady.
Everybody scored, huh?
God.
Yeah, I had Christian Kirk on my bench, and
so
he was waving for me.
That's unfortunate.
Waving from the bench. Yeah, he was like, "Hey, I'm gonna get 16 this week. Forgot to tell you." Like, all right, cool, sit there.
Well, I played Cole Kmet, who had 0 points. Did not have a target.
That's so tough. Like, don't you
from
feel
the
like
guy who played it some? What did we say? I sent you that picture of the Bears quarterback.
Oh,
wherever he played
Colorado
last year.
School of Mines or something. Yeah.
They don't even talk there. Oh, that's Mimes.
No, yeah. I just, whenever they go 0 targets, 0 touches, it's like they don't owe me anything, but why? Like what happened? Like, just give me something. I don't care. It's trivial. Just tell me one reason why you didn't play today. You played, but you didn't play.
I'm so glad I don't play fantasy football. So who's going?
You
Okay.
go for it.
You know, I go high school, college football, pro. So my high school Monstar opened the game with an 80-yard kickoff return for a touchdown, closed it with an 83-yard pick six. Darian Meza of Mount Pleasant, that was his night in a 35-21 win over Hickman County.
Jeez.
Dude has 5 returns for touchdowns in 4 games.
It doesn't make any sense. I got nothing. So, all right, I will go and I will start in college. Clemson tight end and former Ravenwood Raptor, Jake Brenningstool, who had 126 yards on 5 catches and 2 touchdowns in Clemson's loss to Miami, which set a Clemson school record for receiving yards by a tight end.
In a loss.
That's right. But he was targeted 10 times, had 25.2 yards per catch. So, and was the highest graded player via PFF on the team. So, big day for Jake.
That's a great day for the former Ravenwood standout, but the payoff was seeing Dabo at the end of that ball game.
It was great.
It was great. It was great.
JK,
have we stalled enough for you?
Yes. Yes. So although I have a sports hatred, not a personal hatred towards the Chiefs, I have to call out the elephant in the room. Patrick Mahomes was perfect in the first half of football against the Chargers this past Sunday, and got to call it 324 yards in the first half. I mean, it's just stupid.
That is stupid.
I don't know why I even played the second half, but
I mean,
I'm glad you did because I needed all the help I could get.
Just, I mean, unbelievable.
He is my quarterback.
He's your quarterback. There you go. That's my quarterback.
Dude's insane. And
yeah.
Funny, everybody's like, what happened to the Chiefs? What happened to him? It's like I've seen the same Chiefs the past 3-4 years. Like, but they're saying they needed that flash of Mahomes to show everybody again. I'm like, no, we don't. We know what's up. We got it.
My turn?
It's your turn.
My turn. My college Monstar, Virginia running back Mike Hollins, scored 3 touchdowns in the Cavaliers' 31-27 upset of North Carolina. Little background, Hollins was one of 5 Virginia players that were shot, 3 of whom were killed last November by a former teammate. So big day for him, big win for Virginia.
How about that?
Huge win for Virginia.
Jeez.
First win over an FBS team this year.
Yeah.
And
previously unbeaten in North Carolina.
In Chapel
buddy,
Hill.
I got nothing.
Yeah. So
I've got nothing. I don't know if this guy is related to anyone we know, but out of Trousdale County, Cole Gregory.
Can't be.
I'm sure there's plenty of Gregory, so I just don't know.
Can't be. It's too athletic.
9 of 17 passing. Doesn't sound great. But on those 9 completions, he went for 324 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's efficient.
9 completions for 324. Okay, so here's the deal. Trousdale County doesn't throw it a lot. And so you get caught in the box and up, and when they throw it over the top, it goes big. That's what, 25 yards? No, more than that. 35 yards of completion. You said 324?
324. So that's a little more than 32.4.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever that is.
36.
36 yards per completion He also ran 16 times for 203 yards and 3 more scores and had 10 tackles on defense, including 2 for a loss.
Gee. Bet he slept well. Bet he slept late Saturday.
We'll see y'all on Sunday. Well,
Yeah,
everybody except Cole. He can sleep as long as he wants.
Yeah, you just wait. As long as you wake up in time for school Monday morning, it'll be just fine.
You do whatever you need to do, Mr.
Yeah,
Gregory.
you don't
Cole,
even have to come to film Sunday, dude. Just
Cole Gregory, Trousdale County,
Hats off.
527 total yards,
And
6 touchdowns, and 10 tackles. Almost had as many touchdowns as tackles.
That's
Had to give him and if you would like to go vote for the Main Street Preps Football Player of the Week, brought to you by Delta Dental on mainstreetpreps.com, you can do that, where you can find Cole Gregory as one of the 10 or 11, I can't remember, it's ish players who are up for that award. Justin?
I'm gonna go with mine's a double thing. I'm shouting out quarterbacks that supersede their overpaid starters. Tyson Bagent, first start ever in the NFL, and he got a win, which is the first time that's happened in Bears history in 20 years. That's crazy. And then Tyrod Taylor, basically showing Daniel Jones you can throw the ball and not take sacks. Shout out to them. No, it's a little aggressive, but Kevin Byard got traded, so I'm upset.
Yeah, so you're a little grudgeful. Is it my time?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to recognize a couple of defensive guys. First of all, Washington defensive tackle Jonathan Allen.
Oh, gosh, yes.
Who cares what he did on the field?
Nobody cares what he did on the field. But after the Commanders' 14-7 loss to the Giants,
14-7 in the NFL,
he was not very happy, and he expressed his unhappiness in no uncertain terms. And we can't play the video, but let me just tell you.
Ryan Clark said he looked like a WWE superstar.
There were 9 total bleeps in 15 seconds, 5 of which were of the highest degree. So, I mean, just go Google Jonathan Allen and be prepared to be entertained. But also, Columbia Central linebacker Malik Smith, after escorting the eventual homecoming queen.
Hey, that's a good day.
Well, that is a good day.
It's a good day to start.
That's a good day. He escorted the homecoming queen, Gia Sharp, Friday night. Then he scored twice on defense in the first half. Had a 25-yard pick six and wasn't a fumble recovery because he just took the ball from dude and went 71 yards the other way for another score in the Lions' 38-3 win over Lawson. So I wish I'd had video. I don't typically shoot teams on defense, but I would have been too stunned anyway. The description doesn't do it justice. So,
yeah, I'm going to go with Travis Kelce. Listen,
bro, the stats are crazy. The stats are insane.
Okay, the statistics are insane, but to do it, with the eyeballs that are on him right now. Someone in our group chat, in our fantasy football group chat, said, Kelce just seems to always be open. And I don't understand this. It would be like
kicking to Darian Mason?
It would be the equivalent of choosing not to guard Steph Curry at the three-point line.
Well, dude, Mahomes and him have this backyard, weird connection where, he'll move his head a little bit to the right, Mahomes will, and he'll just, know which shoulder he's going to throw it to. It's the weirdest thing to see on replay. I know you've seen it.
But last night, there was a third down. 7 or 8 to go. Kelsey runs to the sticks, turns around, and there's nobody around him.
It does seem to be that way.
What the heck are you doing?
How do you lose that guy?
Especially on camera.
It blows my mind.
How do you lose that guy?
Right.
Anyway, to do what he did, one, on Sunday Night Football. Two, the eyeballs that are on him via Taylor Swift. You got to have some steel.
Yeah.
Why are so many people irritated with the Taylor Swift involvement?
I think it's a little overdone, maybe. Or Kelsey even commented on that.
Is it though?
I mean, I don't think.
How many times
people are bothered by? I mean, people are truly bothered,
and it's ridiculous.
I don't get it.
Yeah,
Like,
it's good for the game.
Yeah, it's good for the game. There you go. Anyway, last one, Justin.
I'm gonna go Gardner Minshew still being electric in the NFL. How about it? With listen to this stat line.
The Colts are a problem.
305.
Not for us.
No. For the Jags.
Yes, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 3 fumbles. Like what? This guy's gonna. It's just. He's a new Ryan Fitzpatrick. I love it.
You know, it's funny you say that because I had a memory on my Facebook pop up about someone, had mentioned Ryan Fitzpatrick should be a Hall of Famer. And I'm like, I don't know about that, but he's certainly a Hall of Fame worthy teammate because that guy was the most selfless human being to ever put on a uniform. Mm-hmm. He gave zero care whether he was out there or not, but if he was on the field, he was going to give you 110%.
Yeah.
And, they called it Fitz Magic. We've got Minshew Magic or Minshew Mania. I'm telling, that's a very, very solid comparison.
Yeah, like I heard a good point. Someone said, if Gardner Minshew plays for you and his quarterback, no one walks out of that game wondering who was your quarterback. They're like, who's Gardner Minshew?
There you go.
That's absolutely accurate. So, all right, we got a couple minutes left. Should Caleb Williams sit out the rest of the year? Emmanuel Acho says so. Is that silly? Brett McMurphy says it's a clown take. If anyone would know, he would.
Damn. Well, I think it kind of takes one to know one. I mean, I don't know that it's not a clown take, but I mean, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of Acho. Not necessarily a fan of that specific take. I don't know. Everybody has to do what they feel like is best for them. I get that. And if he feels like taking the rest of the season off as we sit here in late October, yeah, I guess. I don't know. Oh, what does that say to NFL teams, though?
Right. That's the question. What does it say?
I mean, what else are you going to quit on? What else are you going to turn your back on? What else are you going to say? I've got other interests that are more important than this.
We're out of the division race, and so
ain't no sense in me playing.
Yeah. He's already tried to say that he wants ownership.
Partial ownership, which is not allowed.
Not allowed. Correct.
I was having this conversation at the barbershop the other night. I mean, the fact that he and whoever's advising him don't know that that's not allowed, and it gets said and gets circulated the way it did, makes me wonder about not just him, but whoever's advising him.
Yeah.
And this is just something else that makes me wonder, not just about him, but whoever's advising him. I mean, who's in his entourage? Who is he listening to?
Whoever it is a problem.
Yeah.
How far behind Dan Enos is Sam Pittman? Wow. Does that depend on how well the offense performs going forward? Because they got a bye week.
I don't know. Is Sam Pittman realistically on the hot seat? I mean, I know that there's been a lot of talk. I know that they've been disappointing this year, especially with the senior quarterback. But
I think the question
is this year
Three? Yeah. With the best quarterback running back duo in the country.
As we've said on this show more than once. But I don't think Arkansas can fire Sam Pittman after 3 years. I know this season has been disappointing, but, somewhat not to the same level as Josh Heupel in Tennessee. But I think overall, this 2.5, 3 years has been more than Arkansas had a right to expect to this point, coming from where they were coming from.
It's not like the cupboard was bare, though. They had KJ Jefferson. This is the problem that Arkansas fans have. Is he overperformed in year one?
He overperformed. Heupel overperformed last year, and so you've
created the monster, but nobody wants to see Marshall no more. They want Shady. I'm chopped liver. That's the way it goes. Bottom line.
You create that overblown expectation, and then you got to live up to it. And then when you don't, all of a sudden they're talking about you need to be gone. I just don't think it's realistic. But where does reality come into college football?
But they lost 7-3 to Mississippi State. They,
at least won 3-2.
Lost at home to BYU.
And BYU isn't very good this year, are they?
No. They were a lot better then than they are now.
Yeah.
I mean, but they only lost by 3 to Alabama on the road. So whatever. If they go down to Florida, get a win, maybe they beat Auburn at home. Maybe they're playing Missouri for a chance to go to a bowl game. I don't know.
I want to get to this next one though. So wrap this one
anyway.
up.
I agree with you. I agree with you that I think it's too early. But what is the next one?
The one right under Arkansas.
Should Penn State just be content with where they are in the Big Ten pecking order?
I don't know if they should be or not, but I can't imagine they are.
But should they be? They're definitely not. Is Penn State Tennessee? Or is Penn State Georgia? And I know that sounds goofy, but I guess my point is Penn State a coach away?
At this point, you got to wonder if they aren't a coach away. Because, you remember when we talked about Tennessee during the Pruitt years, and we felt like Tennessee is a victim of bad hires?
Mm-hmm.
The right person can take this thing back to the top, and then in comes Heupel. And in year two, he overachieves. But still.
But James Franklin isn't Jeremy Pruitt. He's not even Butch Jones.
No.
He is a Mark Richt coach, right? He's a Mark Richt. He's going to get you 9-3, 10-2. You're going to be, if you weren't in a dadgum division with Michigan and Ohio State every year, he wins the West every year. He's played for 5 Big Ten titles at this point.
Mm-hmm.
If Penn State's in the West. So I think that's where you got to get to. So I don't know. I think that's a discussion that we definitely need to have a lot further. And we might want to have it with someone from Pennsylvania like Nebias Wilburn.
Or someone who has been in Pennsylvania anyway.
So let's have that conversation later this week. We'll see you guys tomorrow on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint in the Lee Company studio. Have a great day.